Hey everybody, Ryan with Mana Bluff here. Time to run the Dragon's Maze again. And ooh, we opened a pretty sweet pack. We're definitely slamming Rurgthar. I mean, that guy just is a bomb ready to go. Unflinching Courage, though, pretty awesome. Karaz de Gorgon, pretty sweet. And then what's left in the pack? We're passing Runner's Bang, pretty playable. Beetle Form Mage is awesome. Windrake is good. Fatal Fumes is fine. Anything tabling? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, everything that comes back is going to be pretty lame. But I'm super stoked to take Rurgthar here and see if we can't get into a nice Gruul deck. Keeping in mind, again, we're passing our other green guilds, Selesnya and Simic. So that should be interesting. But let's do this. Boom. Yeah. He's a big boy. Alright, let's go more Gruul. Maybe some Zertaw Druids. That would be pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's a Zertaw Ancient and not a Zertaw Druid. I've been absolutely scared to play the Zertaw Ancient. I feel like, yeah, you get a 7/5 at 5 mana, but the fact that it ramps the other player as well in this format kind of freaks me out. Let's ignore this for a second. I think Beetle Form Mage is kind of the best. This looks like to be almost the exact same common run that we just saw. Runner's Bang, Beetle's Form Mage, Windrake. Just a little bit of different uncommons here. I'm happy to take the Beetle Form Mage, though we did already pass one. I don't know how late it's going to go and how much we're going to get cut. This is the only other Gruul card here. You know what? Let's go with Zertaw Ancient. This could be wrong. I mean, I'm taking a 5 and a 6 drop first. But I'm happy to kind of stick away from Simic at the moment, since I'm not planning on seeing it in Pack 2. And let's just see if this guy's a 7/5 on 5 actually gets you there, versus some of the others. Wow, another Beetle Form. Look at this print run. These are all exactly the same commons. That's kind of a bummer, because I think it's going to really make for a super funky draft. Scan Club Giant is super sweet. If we're not playing the Giant, I mean, we have our 6 drops. You don't really want to just like have your only 6 drops at the start of an event. But I'm just going to take it for power level. Zealot Sphinx is pretty fine, but we're just going to stay on Gruul and hope that we're the only Gruul drafter and see if that gets us there. Man, am I sad that I didn't take up the Beetle Form Mage last turn. I wonder if there's like some weird glitch where just the same common run is going through. Because that was 3 packs in a row with the exact same common run. But looks like we're going Gruul. Go big. Here we are. And hey, look, different commons. That's pretty cool. So there's nothing in our colors. No, I'm never gonna play Feral Animist. And maybe I take the Guildgate here in case I'm splashing black later on. Wouldn't mind a Cluestone to be ramping in, but we're not even that high. I mean, yeah, we have 2 6-drops, and we don't want any more. But there's nothing else really exciting. Yeah, the Cluestones, this random 2-drop, these aren't even in our colors, and they're not worth jumping into. Flux Charger is easily the best card in the pack. I'm considering taking it in case we end up going maybe Simic or into blue a little bit. But I actually liked taking Guildgates when I see them if there's not a strong pick over it. You know, it's not in our colors. The Flux Charger is not in our colors, so I'm happy to take the Guildgate over the Flux Charger, despite this being a nice card if we were in Izzet or something like that. Alright, it's not the best way to start a draft, but kind of what we saw. Cluestone's here. Opposite Odds Aid is definitely an okay card to be playing. This is actually about when you want to pick one up here, because it's super powerful. Nivik Cyclops going a little late. But I also saw that Flux Charger, so that kind of makes sense. Because this is the Cluestone versus the Guildgate, I think I will go ahead and take the Nivik Cyclops in case we end up going moving into Izzet of some sort. because we might easily see some pretty sweet cards. It's either that or taking the Maze Rusher, which I mean, yeah, we're having these big old drops here, but A, we can pick these up pretty easily in the next couple of picks, and B, I just don't need more 6s. So we'll take this and pretty much plan on grabbing a Clue Stone or a Maze Rusher as needed. Hey, there's a Zertod Druid. Exactly what I want right here. Helps me ramp, gets into it. Carnage Gladiator is also pretty cool, and we already have a little bit of a black theme going, and quite easily we could turn into maybe a Rakdos with a little bit of green. Not too sure, but I mean, Zertod Druid is by far like the correct pick here. So snap, snap, snap. More gifts like that would be awesome. Let's go Zertod Druids. And here, again, probably another same of the common runs that we saw, which is going to happen in a small set, I suppose. We could take the Cyclops here to have them in case, again, we end up going into blue. I don't really want this Clue Stone. And I still think we're going to get a Clue Stone if we want it. It might be time just to grab it, but again, if we're planning on doing blue, and this is an option, we might as well just have another Nivik Cyclops. It is good. And as it happens, I'm fine with that. We don't want anything else. Pilfered Plans, surprised it's still here, but I guess not a lot of people are in that guild. Yeah, I'm betting on seeing a Clue Stone that I want. Well, then the question is, do I go all in on the Nivik Cyclops land? I mean, hey, having 3 of these out, playing 1 instant or sorcery, but we just don't have any instants or sorceries, and I'm not too sure you want 3 in a deck. So now I think it is time to take a Clue Stone. And we'll take the Is It one here in case we do go 3 colors versus having an on-color Clue Stone, which won't matter too much, since thanks to Zertod Druid, we're pretty sure we want to be staying pretty strong Gruul. And it probably, I see the way the draft going is filling up on Gruul as much as we can in pack 2, and then Is It sort of rounding out our 3rd pack picks later on. So here's what came back. Runner's Bane is still here, which we'll pick up, thinking in case we start having Is It in our 3rd pack. Again, don't really care about Maze Rushers. There's going to be plenty of 6 and 7 drops in our colors. And even though Maze Rusher with these Kais having haste, our multicolored creatures having haste, could be pretty sweet, I just don't think it's that important. And I'm not even looking at Gleam of Battle as a splash right now. So Runner's Bane. Wow, okay, so we'll take Flux Charger. No one's in Is It apparently, which I definitely want to remember that, so that as I build this deck, I might be looking to go solid 3 colors and prioritize some fixing over going 2. It's pretty rare I go into a straight 3 color deck, but man, this and 2 Nivik Cyclopses mean we could really get rewarded for going Is It. Again, happy to pass the Maze Rusher, because that's exactly what I thought would happen. Do I want a second Runner's Bane, not knowing I'm super blue? There is a mini chance that we see the next Maze Rusher, and again, I just don't care about 6 drops, so I'm going to pass that along. We'll take the Clue Stone here. We're not playing any of these cards, and I'm not super scared of them. Although, we're never going to play this Dimir Clue Stone, right? I mean, if we go Is It splashing black, maybe? And we'll get rid of the Mace Sentinel. Just so that it's not something that our opponents might have to sideboard in against some of our beef dudes. Alright, so here we are looking to be very rewarded in Gruul, right? Picking up this Guildgate, maybe in the Sacred Foundry for tickets. Ember Beast is perfectly fine. Here's exactly what I'm talking about with 6 drops, having plenty than we'll ever need. Sapphire Drake being a strong pick if we end up going into Is It. I think I am just going to highly prioritize the Guildgate here, despite having very strong a 3-drop. Sacred Foundry, I mean, it's worth 3 tickets. At this point, yeah, I want the tickets, but I think there's a strong enough pick here that I'm fine to pass this up. So really in between these two, normally it's the Ember Beast all the way, snap pick it. I don't care about fixing as much, but I've got a feeling that of one of our strategies, picking up some Is It is going to be important. So I'm going to make sure I prioritize those Guild Gates when I see them. We'll take the Disciple of the Old Ways here. Happy to have a 2-drop, especially over just a massive raid, which is fine, but just not an awesome removal spell. Remember Horror, sweet. Hellraiser Goblin. This isn't consistent enough of a deck to make this matter. Alms Beast, of course, insane, and we're passing it, which makes me sad, but I'm cool with just a nice 2-drop here. Gosh, 1,000 Lashes. Pretty sweet. Makes sense. We didn't see any strong Orzhov ourselves, so this is coming through. I'm not too sure if it's the Slaughterhorn or the Simic Guildmage here. You know, we have very little Gruul, so I'm going to take the Slaughterhorn in case we don't have Izzet, but oh, man. The also issue is we don't really have the instants or sorceries to turn on the Flux Charger Arnivic Cyclops yet. So I'm gonna go back to the conservative routes and try to just make this a Gruul deck with maybe a blue splash. Heck, even black splash if we get there. And I just think Slaughterhorn is a strong enough card that we want it over Simic Guildmage, which is counter to what I was thinking with the Ember Beast. But since I knew for a fact that we're playing this high end, like I knew I wanted Gruul Guildgate, we may not even be playing blue at all, depending on how this pack goes. There's that Ember Beast. We'll take the Zertos Swine here easily, even though we do want lower drops in Ember Beast and Disciple, it's fine. This guy is just way too good. Yep. Pick that guy. Madcap Skills, super fine in this deck if we're looking to be pretty aggressive. However, I think we just need more playable creatures. We have these 2 4-drops here, although we're probably going to see plenty of these 4-drops. Yeah, I'll take Madcap Skills. It's pretty strong. You have to be careful that you just don't go all in, put all your eggs in one basket with it, and you've got to play around the removal, but I think it's still pretty sweet. And if we're doing some heavy hitting, this is going to just do some blowouts. Hey, there we go. So there's going to be plenty of Ember Beasts coming around, it seems. And yeah, Orzhov is open, so we're going to have to be careful of the Orzhov deck, which is going to be kind of hard on us because the Orzhov deck wants a lot of mana, which this guy gives, and has a lot of removal, which can really kind of like mess up our full creature game plan. Very happy to see the Slaughterhorn going late, meaning not a lot of people are in Simic or Gruul. Although at this point we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of other powerful cards this late in the Gruul draft, which means we are kind of short on playables and might have to worry about what we see in Pack 3 and only seeing Izzet. Yeah, again, we're not splashing into a 3rd color for the white that we're seeing. Burst of Strength, perfectly fine as combat trick. I'm not a fan of either of these combat tricks, but they are what they are. And again, easy to take a 6-drop, even though we don't need it. We're not playing the aggro Foundry Street Denizen. We'll take the Hellraiser Goblin over the sideboard and Naturalize, maybe? No, we'll take the Naturalize. I mean, there's just no way I'm playing Hellraiser Goblin. It just gets eaten way too often, and I'd rather have a sweet sideboard card. Looks like the Rakdos Guildgate isn't going to do much. That's fine. I think we're going to have to end up playing into our blue a wee bit. So we will take a Spell Rupture. If we miraculously get a bunch of Guildgates and probably, end up being more blue than green. At this point, I mean, we do have a pretty even distribution between the 3 colors, which is not where I like to be in this format. And this pack was really the pack that was going to determine where we went. So let's just say, no, I mean, these Slaughterhorns are going to be really key, and I don't think we're going to want to get rid of them. Right now they're over the Nivik Cyclops because we have 2 really mediocre instants. Do we have any sorceries? A bunch of enchantments. Yeah, so our Flux Charger Nivik Cyclops are actually pretty lame here. We'll just take Cackling Perimeter, cut a color. Who cares? Is there a mill deck? I haven't seen that in Dragon's Maze yet. It was kind of fun if you got it in Gate Crash. Anyway, yeah, so right now, these three aren't doing anything in our deck. And the only way they're going to be played is if, with our Return to Ravnica booster, we just get a whole bunch of Izzet with instants and sorceries, which is certainly an option. Hey, Abrupt Decay. So that could easily be something that we end up splashing into. A very okay removal spell. But we also have this Izzet Gilgate, which I think is pretty important. And I'm not too sure what I want to do. That's where I really need to decide what my plan is with these colors. Yeah, I think we just take the Izzet Gilgate here. And, I mean, because we're more likely to be seeing blue and passing that. I mean, we could pick up the Pursuit of Flight, though we'll probably get that as we needed. I really like the idea of having the Abrupt Decay. If I had a more solid Gruul base already, I would just get rid of the blue, which isn't exciting at all anyway, and pick up the Abrupt Decay. But since we don't even have any black cards now, I'm not really planning on having some Golgari spread through, even though Golgari and Rakdos could be coming. Shoot, that's really hard. Nah, we're sticking to the original game plan here. Ooh. So a couple of sweet picks. We're just going to grab the removal spell here. We are definitely red. Would love the Splatter Thug. And we might even see some of them, but we need removal at this point. And this does actually turn on our game plan B, if you will. I'm going to hide the Runner's Banes for now, assuming that we play a blue splash over something else. That's probably not correct. Alright, looks like we're going all three, right? I mean, there's really no pick here. There's a Centaur's Herald we can grab, which is like having another 3-drop, which would make our deck more consistent. Skymark Rock's so good. Shine's Judgment's so good. Actually, yeah, I'm going to take the Centaur's Herald. We need 3s anyway, and I am looking to just get rid of my my blue as much as possible. And having it more of a splash, like maybe Flux Charger being the one blue spell we play into. So at this point, we're just looking for, Splatter Thugs, Gorehouse Chainwalkers, or any kind of just solid green and red spell, along with some of the many combat tricks that you see within this format. For example, Rubbleback Rhino or Savage Surge, just a very basic playable 5-drop, even though we don't need more 5s. It's just it's a card. Savage Surge is a combat trick. It gets a little more value when we're playing our Flux Charger and Nivix Cyclopses. And we're already at 14 creatures, 11 if we get rid of our blue. I think we're going to see a Rumbleback Rhino, so I'm not going to take it here, and I'm not too sure we'll see a Savage Surge. I'm not excited for a Savage Surge, but if this deck is going to work at all, it just needs some decent tricks in green. Yeah, so here's another Rhino. We'll even see it again. I'm going to take the Decoy here, though, pretty handily. We're not seeing any red, so maybe our opponent, or not our opponent, our drafter to the right of us was like in Rakdos, even though we saw like an Augur Spree pass to us in the second pack. I don't remember if the rare was still there or not. Yeah, we'll just take the Decoy here. Happy to have a 3-drop in the colors. We'll take another Izzet Gilgate, which will really help us to splash these. But now, what is the deck doing? We have 1, 2, 3 mediocre combat tricks plus an Annihilating Fire to turn on our dudes. We might be getting rid of, like the Zerta Ancient and the Ruination Worm. Still, I think it's important to have our fixing, because we are playing blue. We have our other enchantments to also be playing. And it's either that or we take a double blue spell or a sideboard card. We're not the Dryad Milton deck, so yeah, that'll be fine. And we are officially blue. Oh, I almost looked over this guy. That's a gift. I was just going to take some lame-o Karazda Monitor, but man, Bloodfray Giant, please, schmink you. Wouldn't mind seeing like an Explosive Impact or something, even though we don't need more 6s, but having, some sort of reach removal spell and something to turn on our little dorks here could be alright. We're at playables because I hid those Runner's Banes, which I think are now definitely going to be played with our double splash here, and our Is It Cluestone. But we'll see. The more playable red and green I am, the happier I am to get rid of any other type of blue cards. We'll take the Lobber Crew. There's nothing else here. There's some random hate, but we already have a sideboard. Naturalize, so we don't need Sundering Growth, and Swift Justice isn't that awesome of a combat trick that I have to hate draft it. Didn't think I'd ever be playing a Burst of Strength, Weapon Surge, and Savage Surge all in the same deck. But I guess that happens. I guess that goes down. Ooh. So, Pursuit of Flight and Archweaver. We already have a Madcap skills. I don't know if I want to be enchanting up, but we're easily playing the Blue Splash, so the Pursuit of Flight is fine. The main thing is we just don't need a 7-drop. I actually prefer the Ruination Worm over the Archweaver, and we're not really ramping too much with Zertod Druid and an Is It Cluestone. So yeah, we'll take Pursuit of Flight and see if we can just make someone kind of big or fly over, or just kind of suit up one of our dudes that way. And we're not going to get many. I mean, there was no other Pursuit of Flight that we saw going around, I don't think. Could be wrong about that. I remember the foil one, that was it. So let's see. Trickery for the sideboard or Hover Barrier. Judge's Familiar isn't doing what we want it to do. Is my deck a Hover Barrier deck? No. I'd rather just have a sideboard card. Again, we're looking to be as little blue as possible. Maybe only playing Flux Charger and like a Runner's Bane for removal, or keeping a sideboard or something like that. Electricity is just a sweet blowout against someone who happens to be playing a bunch of 1 toughness dudes. So we'll grab it. Little worried about being in Gruul and only having two drops of creatures. Wow, that Electromancer came back. We'll take it. I hope I don't get tempted to have a greedy mana base just because I have a Goblin Electromancer. But yeah, some decisions to be had. And really it's just about how much blue am I actually playing. Just cutting random cards that I do not care about. Alright, well that's the draft. I'll see you in a second for deck building and figure out the blue spell. Alright, so here's the basic deck, which has all of our green and red playables, and with our current curve. I did include the Cluestone here, because we're definitely splashing in some kind of blue. And you'll know Centaur's Herald is here at 3. Little worried because we only have 1 decent removal spell at Annihilating Fire, and then a bunch of dinky combat tricks that no one wants to play anyway. But I think that's just how it's going to have to go. Trickery can easily come in for any of the spells we don't like. If we see a bunch of 1 toughness dudes, and it'll just be a solid removal spell. Naturalize, of course. Goblin Electromancer, though I really want 2 drops, I'm looking at Gruul with a splash of blue. We only need 2 more cards here, so I'm not going to be reliably casting. And on top of it, our instant sorceries are already cheap. We don't need its nice ability. So instead, we're looking here with our Flux Charger, which on its own is definitely perfectly fine. It's just a 1/5 flyer. Not awesome, but has quite a bit of power. And then I'm looking at either putting in a Nivik Cyclops, which is good, just because that's why we're playing our 1, 2, 3, 4 instants. But again, we don't have enough instants to make these things reliable. That fun little... It's the Dragon's Maze Is It mechanic, if you will. When you're casting instants or sorceries, they affect... and actually, because of that, I'm very much concerned just getting rid of it, and really just splashing in 2 of these removal spells, like maybe 1 Paralyzing Grasp and 1 Runner's Bane, just for more removal. We're only at 14 creatures. Admittedly, our dudes are pretty big once we get into the 5 and 6 drop range. And And we get to play 2 blue spells for free thanks to our Is It Gilgate, and we want the Cluestone anyway for our 6 drops. So really the question is which 2? Spell Rupture, pretty much never going to take out any of these 3. I can even move this over here with Electromancer. It's really, do I want the Flux Charger as a 1/5 gum up the board and with possible upside of bashing in at 5 with these little mini tricks? Or do I just want some of these removal spells? I think we're easily going to put in 1 Runner's Bane. The one thing I'm just thinking about is Runner's Bane isn't entirely great on the splash. After all, you know, it's only with creatures power 3 or less, but still it tends to be relevant. It's just it can, you know, if really what I'm worried about is some beefy dudes. But really, I have beef to counter beef, which I like saying. This is just, I think we do just need to slow down the game a little bit to get to our 5 big old guys here. And this will kind of work. So, yeah, I think I'm going to start here. Even though Flux Charger is the more powerful card with a bigger upside. Let me think for a second. Alright, I spent a full minute and a half thinking, but yeah, this is going to be the initial build. I'm looking for Flux Charger to come in out of the board, as well as Electric Tree and Naturalize, possibly switching Runner's Bane with Paralyzing Grasp. I just don't think that with what my deck's doing, that having the random occasional instant to trigger this and hit 5 is going to matter as much as having ways of dealing with my opponent's threats, which I'm pretty short on. If I can deal with my opponent's threats, my dudes up here are pretty much going to help me get this game sealed in. So we're going to start here and take it from there. So let's get our land build on. I might end up wanting this extra island just because I can. I mean, I am playing 2.5 spells. I mean, I already have, like I said, the free splash, so we'll see if I need it. But I have 7, 8, 9. I mean, that's 10 red sources, which I do not need. 13, 14 already. And then I have 6, 7. So yeah, we're definitely going to up the green a wee bit. That's 8 green sources, which should be enough. I mean, I have this 1 Centaur Cell and these 2 drops are green, but 8 is still pretty solid. But do I really need a 3rd island? No. I mean, I have the 2 Is It Gilgates plus an Is It Cluestone just for 2 cards. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and have a whole bunch of green. Yeah, that's fine. I am perfectly okay. And this is plenty. 6. I mean, we already have 9. I mean, that's 10 red sources. Maybe I don't even need that. Well, I do want a bunch because of the Blood Fray Giant and Annihilating Fire. Yeah. I love it. We'll see you in round 1. Let's run the maze.